PJ Facts. PJ Facts.
Experience and times that you shared with the late Gen Aronda. So to start us off, sir, I would like to know when and how you met the late Gen Aronda, the first time that you met him.
Gen Aronda came to the bush around 19, the late 1982. Late 1982. I can't exactly remember I can't remember the exact time, but sometime early to mid 1982. And there were a group of graduate and undergraduate students who had come run from Makerere, and they joined us in the bush. And he did his training. After training, he was deployed in various areas. I can't exactly put my finger on them. It's many years ago. I don't exactly, can't, unless I look at my records, which are not available. But I remember him as a good cadre. As a good cadre, as somebody who was committed to struggle and able to lead. He served both in the political department and the intelligence department, and he was generally an able and efficient officer. He was promoted to the ranks of junior officer, and then eventually commissioned when we came from the bush. What I remember about Gen Aronda is he was normally a quiet person. He was not assuming. He was not arrogant. He was not cock up. These fellows, people who, he was a very thoughtful person who volunteered advice and his opinion from a well-considered position. And my interactions with him were very profitable. Normally, he tendered well thought out opinions, and that's why I liked him. It's good we are remembering him, like we should remember all those who came before him, especially those who didn't see the light of day in '86. People like Sam Magara, Sam Katabarwa, M.H. Arohanga, Ahmed Seguya, Mure Mwanga, and many others, and those who fell in the course of struggle. When there was no light, where there was no light at the end of the tunnel, who really pioneered into struggle, into struggle when aspects of success were very, very, very dim. The possibility of success was very dim, but they volunteered and laid the founding bricks that have brought us to this day. It's a very good idea that we should remember and respect their Yes, Chief. Yes, Chief. I'm told we should not only talk about their existence and contribution, but also rekindle the cause, rekindle the cause of their sacrifice. You know, it's not their absence; it's what they fought for. It's what they fought for and their vision. The best way to remember them is to actualize what they laid their lives down for. If we don't achieve and enhance and achieve what they struggled for, we shall be traitors to their cause. We remained behind to fulfill the mission for which they fell.
So, yes, Honorable Minister, thank you. I was just curious whether during the Bush War or the Bush times, obviously you had some revolutionary missions that you were undertaking. How do you think Gen Aronda contributed to the success of the Bush War?
You see, the success of a war is not a one-man affair. Different people play different roles at different times. There are the thinkers, there are the planners, there are the actors, there is support staff. You may pride yourself for being a battalion commander, but without eating, you can't be a battalion commander. Meaning that yes, you are contributing intellectually to the struggle, but this officer, this young man who is cooking, is supporting your intellectual prowess. So we made different contributions according to capacity. Whatever capacity you had, you put in that capacity, that effort. But the one who put in very little made the difference. Because without eating, you wouldn't go to fight. Without somebody carrying ammunition, you wouldn't fight. Without somebody giving you intelligence, you wouldn't be able to fight. Without the support of the population and organization of the population. So it's difficult to isolate the contribution of one individual from the collective contribution of the many. Yeah. So we say everybody made a contribution because each contribution, big or small, was important to the whole effort.
So you mentioned that Gen Aronda rose through the ranks after the Bush War, eventually becoming the chief of defense forces.
Yes.
Do you think, obviously, it was a team effort, but how do you think his being at the helm of the UPDF shaped the force as we know it now and the nation?
He did quite a lot. He did quite a lot as chief of defense forces. I was busy in government, but I could see him changing the character of the UPDF from a guerrilla force to a conventional force, you know. And one good thing about Gen Aronda is he was very patient. He was very patient and understanding. You know, he helped quite a great deal to shape the character, albeit in difficult circumstances. Yeah. The difficult circumstances in which he operated, notwithstanding, he was able to shape the character of the UPDF. Because he'd gone risen through the ranks, he'd even fought in Sudan, all these contributions he made as a intelligence officer, as a battalion commander, as a brigade commander, and a division commander, and then the contingent commander in South Sudan, the chasing of coin, then eventually as chief of defense forces. He was an intelligent, focused individual, very intelligent, very, very focused, and dedicated to work.
What lessons do you think?
Humility and dedication to work. Honesty, humility, and dedication. Dedication to work. He was not the kind of person you would find, struggle, fighting for this, fighting for that, imposing himself and committing all sorts of blunders in the process of acquiring position. He was not ambitious. Aronda was not ambitious. He served wherever he was placed and served successfully. But you find lots of people who are struggling and pulling each other down and, telling all sorts of stories and causing general confusion. Subtracting the contribution to the cause of struggle instead of enhancing it.
Honorable Minister, I was wondering if you have any personal memories that you might share with us.
The personal memories I have of Aronda are rather funny, are comic. Like when you ask him something and he couldn't, he couldn't cook. No, these are comic.
Yeah,
These
that's
are,
good.
these are, these are comic.
They'll help us know you and him better. Yeah, the human part of it.
No. He was a very, very interesting, an amiable person, a very good friend to have around. You know, Aronda never raised his voice. You know, he was very subtle and sometimes irritating. He'd laugh in the face of provocation, and very frustrating. He would laugh in the face of provocation and very frustrating. But he was not a pushover, He was a man of conviction. He was a man of conviction.
would like to hear it.
Hmm?
You said he would serve tea and not cook.
No, we used to have our anecdotes and the jokes. He's in a bit because he would say he had no fingers. Just,
Okay.
yeah.
I probably, as we also come to the end, unless you have anything else you would like to share with us. Aronda's legacy, his
No, Aronda's legacy, like I said, is that those of us who have remained behind should be true to the cause for which our comrades laid down their lives. We should remain true to the cause for which our comrades laid down their lives. Like, for instance, we have this challenge of corruption. And it's disheartening to see the chairman of the party, struggling alone. He's talking about corruption, 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 when the rest of us are silent. You know? So when the man wages war and he looks behind and there's nobody following, he gets discouraged. You know, there are things he would, I think, in my view, he would want to do if there was total support. But most of us leaders are silent about it. And corruption is an existential threat to our party. Corruption is an existential threat to our party. The threat to NRM is not NUP, is not FDC. No, no, no. It's the conduct of the leaders. You know, because the initial mantra of our struggle was clean leadership. Clean leadership, unity of the country, and faith in the capacity of our people to be sovereign and independent. So when you get lost in primitive capital accumulation and material acquisition, then you've lost the path. You won't succeed because in the process of acquiring these ill-gotten, illegitimate resources, you are disturbing the peace, you are breaking the faith in the population and disuniting the people, and ultimately, end of the day, you will lose what you have acquired. You know, it's like putting up a house and then, so, you know, spraying the foundation with salt. You built a very good house, but you sprayed the foundation with salt. That salt will erode the cement, the adhesive, the cement, you know, and the cement will loosen, and the house will come down. Yes, the house is beautiful, but that salt you have sprayed at the foundation will eventually bring it down. So it's important that we galvanize ourselves and recognize and remember the cause for which people laid down their lives, and in their memory, if we've been making mistakes, correct them. Yeah. No, you see the president, the chairman, talking alone. Oh, I do this, oh, I do this. Then, you know, the people who want to support him because all sorts of confusion, they want to divert the struggle, you know, all sorts of things. But these are things we can do and do succinctly and correctly. If we are all disciplined, if we are not engaged in PhDs, PhD by I mean pull him down. By PhD I mean pull him down, pull this one down, pull, you know.
Okay. Lastly, Honorable Minister, some of these.
So some of the things he achieved individually, like there was an Aronda circle. But starting the circle was a collective decision. It was not an individual decision. Some of these things we are created for are collective decisions. Eh, But because he's at the forefront, in leadership, my style of leadership is being primus inter pares, first among equals. You can't lead alone. You can't lead alone. You are only a leader when you are putting together people, putting together collective effort and giving it direction. You know, leaders are not for ceremony. Leaders are for solving people's problems. You know, if you didn't know my home, you would have needed a leader to bring you here to solve your problem of coming to my home. But since you knew my home, you didn't need anybody to lead you. So if you are in leadership, leadership is for solving people's problems. You lead where people can't do what they want to, where can't achieve what they want to achieve on their own. Then you take the leadership role. So solving some of these army problems are collective efforts, collective decisions, and so forth. But the fact that you give him this idea and he implements it to perfection is what we created the leader for.
Okay, we've come to the end, Honorable Minister. Unless you have any parting shots that you'd like to share with us.
For that one, you have to pay.
Yes. Any parting shots?
No, let's, as our generation reaches its zenith, I call for discipline. You can only succeed as a society when you are disciplined. And in the process of discipline, you heighten organization. A community that is disorganized cannot succeed, cannot get anywhere. And this has been the problem of Africa. Articulate scientific organization. Because you find here in Africa, everybody wants to be somebody. When there is only one place, like everybody wants to be president, there can only be one. There can only be one president at a time. But when all of you want to be president, now how do you manage? When all of you want to be president, how do you manage? So wait and we organize and then we see how we do our things and then succeed. Discipline and piety, discipline and honesty.
Maybe General, you are met today. Which information, which advice will you give them in line with Aronda's legacy?
Seriousness, obedience and seriousness. Let them be obedient, let them be serious, let them be focused. Let them dedicate their lives to the cause they've chosen to serve. Being a military leader means you have put your life on line to protect the country. And you can't protect the country by robbing it. You can't protect the country by robbing it. You can't protect the country by despising the citizens. You protect the country by respecting and loving the citizens, caring for the population. Yeah. The army protects the population. The army protects the country. So protection calls for a lot of sacrifice. Protection calls for a lot of sacrifice and dedication and discipline. If you can't do that, then you just go home and you go and engage in business, and you can go and dance and do other things, and drama and business, and because those don't call for a lot of discipline and dedication, you know. Uh, because the population puts their lives in your hands. The population puts their lives in your hands. And when they put their lives in your hands, they expect you to protect them. And you don't protect the people as when you treat them as objects of pleasure or something, Okay.
So much, Honorable.
Sawa.
Pigeon facts.